Man, some of the takes I've been seeing on social media, particularly X/Twitter, about the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct have been absolute trash. Absolute trash. And here's the thing. If it ain't for you, if you don't like the fact that the games are $80 or that the fact that the console is $449 for just the console, $499 for the console in Mario Kart World, if it ain't for you, cool, it ain't for you. Quit bitching about it. Quit crying about it. Because ain't nobody making you take your wallet like this and spend it. It's a choice. It ain't worth losing your mind over. But some of the most intellectually dishonest and asinine and just straight up bullshit claims that I've been hearing, like American families can't afford an $80 game when you got kids spending more money than that on Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft, and Call of Duty. Come on now. Come on now. Come on, son. Stop lying. And here's the thing. This is the thing I like to say about the internet. The internet is clown world. Crazy. Because the internet, and what you'll see is a lot of people, especially on social media, will do anything. They will say anything to get a hot take, to get people to go to their pages and engagement farm off of that. So some of the hottest takes I'm seeing about the Switch 2, some of them make sense. Okay, maybe you need to budget more if you want to get it, or to call Nintendo greedy. Okay, look at this. Here's the thing. For the amount of tech and kit that's in it, what did you expect it to be? $299 for all that? No, get out of here. That means that you don't know anything about this field and you're just a casual. And if you are, that's fine. Nothing against that. But just the pure outrage has been absolute clown world seeing. People saying the launch lineup is lackluster. They ain't really got nothing major for a launch lineup. The Switch's launch lineup was better. Do y'all remember the Switch having like 3 to 4 games at launch? And then we had to wait weeks to get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Sometimes there's a lot of history revisionism that goes on with the internet. They just like to revision things to what they think it should be. But it's so tiring. The internet will have you believing, if you let it, that everyone thinks everything is just horrible, that there's all this constant outrage. When in reality, the internet and people on these social media platforms are in clown world. Buy it or don't. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Move on. But stop trying to pocket watch everybody else. Damn. Like Ron Simmons. Damn. All right, folks. I'm skipping the pleasantries. Y'all are not getting an aloha here. You're not getting that at all, okay? Straight up. First off, I'm Mekel Kasanova. Y'all know who I am. And this is DeckedUP Gaming and Tech Podcast. I got my brother over here, the one and only Avedon Smith. Man, let's talk about this, man.
What's going on there? What's going on? Where do you want to start first?
Man, let's talk about this Nintendo Switch 2 nonsense. Honestly, yeah, I see my bro Cam Car Quicks. Bro, if you want to hop in on this too, because I know you also from New York, so he got some thoughts too. He got some thoughts too. Let me I'll send him the link. But bro, what is going on with the outrage that's going on? Okay, for those of y'all who don't know, Nintendo Switch 2, we have the Nintendo Switch Direct today, or Nintendo Direct today. Switch 2 got 2 different models, or technically one model, 2 different SKUs. We got one, just the console, $449 US, and the other one is $499 with Mario Kart World. Now, people mad about the pricing. You and I have been talking about this since we first heard that the price was probably going to be higher than the original Switch because of the tech involved in it. You know, there's a lot. The partnership between Nintendo and Nvidia. People acting like that's not a factor. Okay, well, whatever. Now, folks, spinning all kinds of just narratives about the pricing of the games, saying that games are going to be 80, digitally, physically, it's going to be 90. But when you look at the games at the retailers, the narrative and the reality are not lining up. But this is what folks are running with. Then you got clowns who I ain't naming no names. I showed it to you. I showed it to my bro Cam. How are you comparing? How are you comparing Clair Obscure, a $40 indie RPG, to a system seller like Mario Kart, and saying it's the same thing we've been getting for 40 years? Intellectual dishonesty. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead, man. It's all you.
So when I saw that, I laughed out loud. I almost choked on my water because we're not just about any Mario Kart here, okay? We got to understand that Mario Kart was one of the games that kept the Wii U alive up into the Switch, along with one of the more recent titles that got re-released onto the Switch from the Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles X, because there was a lot of just dead periods. For those who had a Wii U, I got a Wii U at the end of its cycle. But I looked at the time. The Wii U, for a lot of people, was just dead space.
Yeah.
The Switch era of games, gamers ate. There was a lot of games that people got for the Nintendo Switch era that was good. And I was actually having a conversation with somebody, and we was just discussing about how the launch titles, and I was saying that, well, the Nintendo Switch 1, because he pointed out that the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't have a strong first party lineup. It doesn't have really anything outside of Mario Kart World for launch release, right? And I was like, that's a good point. It doesn't have the good games. So it's like it doesn't have too many first party games. But I was like, Mario Kart 8. No, I'm not Mario Kart 8. Keep saying Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart World. Thank you.
Well, we had 11 years of Mario Kart 8, so you're forgiven.
Exactly. Mario Kart World displays the value of what, for me, would constitute $80 for a game. Because for me, listen, Friday nights, this area right here is my children, I, and sometimes my wife when she wants to play. And we all play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I got the expansion NSO. So we got all the DLC, all the tracks, all that. That is some of the most fun that we have as a family. You can't put a price on that. So the argument that I was making is this is going to come down to the conversation about value. And the problem is, I don't think, well, let me rephrase this. The problem is, I believe rather that a lot of people have anxiety about the value because of the price tag. Now that they see a price tag, now there is anxiety of, is this going to be worth it? Am I really going to play it this much? Why am I going to pay this much? Especially where most people who are probably seeing this, yeah, I can say this. Most people, because if you were a millennial, the last time games were the last time the games were this expensive, you wasn't old enough to have a job. So
I mean, you probably didn't even hit puberty. If we're being honest, your balls didn't drop. But anyway, keep going.
So for the most part, we have to put this in context because, games cost $60 back then. Yeah, a $64.99 game back then, maxed out with today's inflation, would have been $127 of our dollars to match up 64 of theirs. So our parents were very kind because I don't know about y'all growing up. Maybe this is just a black home. Maybe I grew up in a way, but you know what? I'm thankful for my upbringing. I'm not mad at it. we only got 3 games 3 times a year. And that 3 was a maybe. 2 was, matter of fact, 2 was a maybes too and everything if you wasn't behaving. But if I was on my best behavior, I got at least a game or 2 on my birthday, Christmas, and this one I'm gonna make some people in the chat laugh about this. If you manage to get all A's all 4 semesters during school. That was me. That was
me.
That was me. That was like if you got all A's, if you ended the year good, okay. And the reason why I can talk about that is because Star Fox 64 is one of the reasons why I was able to do that. I did so good that year that I got Star Fox that summer it came out. I was one of the few people that I knew from all my friends who actually owned Star Fox because ladies and gentlemen, you ready for this? You ready for this? How much was Star Fox 64 when it first came out? With the Rumble Pack.
Bro, that... Do we want... Okay, do we want to really tell them?
Do you want to really tell them? Because basically, Star Fox 64, if I remember, when it first came out, wasn't it about how much was it in Toys R Us? I know some places had it cheaper, but how much was it in Toys R Us?
I remember it being like 85 to 90 back in the day.
Yeah, 80. It was 80. I remember 85 or 90. I wasn't sure if it was for. Hold up, I'm gonna do some checking. Let me see. Toys R Us. That's the one beautiful thing you could do with my magazine. You could double check to see how much things actually cost. Because Super Mario 64, I remember, was $59.99 at one point. But then that's what that price going down. That's right too. Star Fox 64 actually, I remember this too, and I got it. Star Fox 64 had a video cassette, had a VHS. I still had that. I had that for the longest time and everything. So the thing about Star Fox was like super expensive.
Shout out to my bro Cameron, aka Kart Quicks. Welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, how y'all doing?
What's good?
Because I'm in the midst of doing something else at the same time, but I know this conversation, you were messaging me and I heard what y'all are talking about, which is I gotta agree with about 99% of all them points that y'all been making.
90. What's the 1%?
I have an angle where I can play devil's advocate on one thing.
I'm gonna have fun with this. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the one area I'll play devil's advocate, right? Because I see people harping on the price tag stuff, right? And this devil advocate thing is kind of like somewhat devil's advocate, but not really. I'll just play it into it. So the $80 game thing, which I do find funny because everybody forgot how much N64 games used to cost in the middle of the 90s. So if you equate for what those used to cost until now, we're at a certain price point. I think that people forget that if the cost of everything has to go up, right? If you say you want to pay developers more money, if you say the cost of living is more money, if you say everything is costing more, then I can see the angle of you wanting to have a price point of games stop at a certain price point, say $60 or something like that. The other flip side of this little devil's advocate part, that's the angle I think they're all trying to play. They're trying to play the angle of, I don't want to see anything increase in price at all. I just want it to remain $60. However, leaning into what you guys are talking about, and I don't know if you mentioned this, I didn't catch everything, but if the cost of everything is going up, and then you want things to be more production value, you want more features, you want online stuff, you want things to just be more and more and more, then it has to come with a cost. And if everything is inflated across the globe or across the board, then it's going to cost more money. And if you're talking about, like Mekel mentioned in the beginning, an indie game to a franchise that has a storied history across decades, then they got the cachet to charge what they charge. Hence why people are worried about how much GTA 6 is going to cost. And I say the way y'all been playing GTA Online, you know they're gonna charge y'all more because they know you're not going anywhere. You've been playing on the same game for years, dumping millions and billions of dollars of microtransactions onto the game. When it comes out, they will charge you $100 because at no point in time have you shown you won't spend the money. If you don't buy the game and you don't spend money on it, they will come to the drawing board and say, hey, we can't charge that much because we have no market and no historical data showing that they're paying this much money. And if Nintendo knows that there is no other Mario Kart, there is no other Mario, even if people try to use that excuse like, oh, it's a 40-year-old game from Super Nintendo and NES. So what? Who else has made a Zelda, a Mario, a Mario
Bro,
Kart, a Kirby, a Donkey
so
Kong? I want you to tell me. I worked for Microsoft. I was an advocate of Xbox and PlayStation. None of them have franchises that are that strongly held. Nintendo has Disney level IP, like Star
yes.
Wars and Lion King. We're in a different playing field. This isn't just considered a game.
So are we all in agreement that saying
Can I just say a number real fast?
go for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
67.35. 67.35. That is 67.35 million copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So this is the same Mario that we had for 40 years, but yet what other IP can you say that has been out for decades that sells tens of millions?
None.
So
you don't have any.
So
this is why Nintendo has that leverage.
So here's the thing. Now I'm gonna cross platform other industries real fast. When Samsung increases the value of their Galaxy products, is it the same price?
No.
When Apple increases the value of their products, are they the same price?
No. The price of phones and tablets has been increasingly moving up for years.
Now I'm gonna really play the advocate here. Watch this. For my PC gamers, the real tried and true PC gamers, I'm talking about the ones that make sure that their hardware is up to date. When Nvidia,
you go in there.
That 5000 series. Let's talk about it.
When Nvidia increases the value of their products, does the price stay the same? Can I get a 480 for the price of a 1080 Ti?
No. I think people forget that, yeah, it would be lovely if everything just stayed inexpensive, right? But at the same token, then you no longer can ask for other things. If you say, I don't want the price to go up at all, if I'm mad that the Nintendo Switch costs $449.99, now I said $399, I was like, that's them trying to like obliterate all competition. But realistically, if you're talking about a 1080p screen, I know it ain't 4K, everybody keeps getting caught. We're talking about a handheld one that has a certain battery life, that has a certain refresh rate, that has all the other features on it, that has a dock, that has game chat, that has cameras, all these things what's inside of a handheld that you can take with you. And you want it to be cheaper than $449 when you can't even do what an iPad can be cheaper. It has no access to the things that Nintendo has. So Nintendo has the leverage to say, I think we can charge $449 for this. Because this is what we're offering, is what we're putting on the table. If you don't want it to cost that much, there's a Switch One.
You're gonna hit him with that old argument. You hit him with that old Xbox argument, bro.
Yeah,
bro, we were there too.
Oh my gosh, no, that was. You know, I laughed when I was watching this Nintendo Direct. I said Nintendo just stole Microsoft's whole playbook. I saw that camera. I said, "We back with the Kinect."
Yo, you did
back.
too.
I was like, "We back." I was like, Microsoft tried all this. I was there when they were like, man, get the old console. The funny thing is, in the end, Microsoft was correct when they made that argument. They were just too early. They were like 7 years ahead of the curve. They were correct. They just had the wrong timing, the wrong people giving out the message, and then in the end, they lost that battle when it came to the customers and how they felt about it. But ultimately, in the end, they weren't off.
But
everything's online now.
But you see, that's the problem where you're too early and you don't have the rapport to hold it. Because there's another company that was too early. They had the right idea, but it was just too early. And that is Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Dreamcast was way too early to the party.
They were way ahead of the curve. They were so ahead of the curve, it didn't even feel like it was real. Like you would see people with the system, like, man, what?
Like I remember seeing Shenmue. I remember seeing Shenmue for the first time. That was crazy. Playing Finish Star Online for the first time.
I remember my friend dialing in. I'm like, we're playing somebody else in another state. Like, what's happening? I was like, you mean that's another person we're playing? Like, it just didn't even feel real.
But so bring it back to the prices. Listen, I get it, and let me see if I can find it because I've seen a few people show off the prices of the games and everything. I get it that Kirby's Forgotten Land being $80 could be off-putting. I get it that Tears of the Kingdom could be being $80 could be off-putting. I even get that Breath of the Wild being $70 could be off-putting.
That's kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie.
Like I could get the frustration of that, but Bravely Default. But here's where I like how things are in context. Bravely Default's can be $40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you have Street Fighter 6, which this is, if anything is that's on here, that's the most important game on this list that's on this document that's flying around is actually Street Fighter 6, because what that tells me is the third-party companies have control over the prices. Because Street Fighter 6 is still $60. In fact, this Street Fighter 6 is $60 because it comes with the DLC of seasons 1 and 2.
Yep. Yeah, so those people pay 60 plus the DLC. That's all coming bundled.
So with that being $60, that's actually a good deal. That's actually a very valuable deal. Now, there is some context with Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that is a rumor. I got to double check to see if it's true. And that is, if you have an expansion pass subscription, the upgrade is free for you. If that's true, again, Nintendo.
It is. They actually, that's if you have the Nintendo Switch Online, like the expansion pass and all that, then you're not paying anything for these upgrades. Like if you have the Switch version of the game, you want the Switch 2 version, and you've got that, you're getting it. You don't have to pay that additional fee. Now they should have highlighted that.
I agree.
They should have highlighted that because now that the narrative's been hijacked.
They didn't even highlight the price.
No, that's so true. They didn't.
I know why they did. I can tell you why they didn't highlight the price. Because they are going about the pre-orders very discreetly.
Yeah.
Because what has happened with almost everything that's been coming out with Nintendo since the Switch? Scalpers. Nintendo has been dealing with scalpers with their classic systems. PlayStation has been dealing with scalpers. Everyone with the new consoles coming out has been dealing with scalpers. And Nintendo already sees that there will be people who will buy it, not even to use it. They just hate this console so much, and they will overprice it on eBay to get people who are either A, desperate, or B, to hinder their sales from people and to turn the experience all the way off. But because you have to be invited to pre-order, I think, for some in some cases.
Yeah, Nintendo on their website they are. Listen, if anybody thinks that this won't sell out, I promise you,
it's going to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, the Twitter noise and stuff is
did we do a podcast about that, Cam? We said it was going to be like near impossible to get if you're not like up in there day one.
I will say this: Nintendo did better because the rumor is that a large amount of shipments have already landed in the U.S. Hence why they can launch it in June 5th, somewhere north of 400,000 units or more. They're doing better with their launch than Xbox did and than Sony did. Because Sony was horrific, if you remember that.
I just want Mario Kart World, bro.
Yeah, like I saw when they showed that open world, and kind of going back to what you're talking about before with just kind of IPs in the history. I was speaking to my brother-in-law earlier because he was saying something about like the cost of the game. I said, listen, I'm a sneakerhead. I mean, a retired sneakerhead, really.
Are
But
you really? Are you really?
it's not the same like I was in Hawaii. I've been camping outside. I got a whole separate room with sneaker boxes. It's calmed down a lot. Okay. But for people that buy sneakers, it's the same thing like Jordans. The price of Jordan 1s has increased every single year. They have $10, $20, $10, $20. And the difference there is that the quality hasn't really changed. It maybe has plateaued a bit, but the name and the history is what allows them to pull that off. And if Nintendo's saying that they're bangers like Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, new Mario's, new Kirby, new Smash Brothers, new Zeldas, they're saying those bangers are going to be the ones that are $70 to $80, and I'm like, cool, because like we just said, there's other games that fall under that price point that are available for the console. So if the bangers that you know are coming, at least they give you time. It's not like Nintendo drops Metroid Prime, Mario, and Zelda on the same day. They'll give you one, say we'll see you next year with the next one. We'll space it out between 6 months. There's time to play the game if you want to trade it in, if you want to sell it, if you want to. And they have game cards that you can share games. So they're at least trying to give people options, saying, okay, let's say you have friends, multiple consoles, share the game, pass it off to the next person. They're doing it like the old school ways of like, here, I beat it, you try it out, let's split the cost, you do that for. I mean, there's ways to do it. If you're thinking everything has to be, I walk into the game store and I want to buy two brand new games at $80, I'm like, yeah, you got to spend $170, $80 plus tax. That just is what it is. But you don't got to do that. I think that
Yeah.
would be the extreme side of somebody trying to walk into the store and pay that much. Everybody now, games are long, they take time, we have lives, we have families. So I'm buying one game, and until I beat that, I'm really not. I'm bouncing around to a few other ones, but I'll get the game, play it. When I'm done, I'll move on to the next thing.
I'm gonna say this too. Like this is the idea I'm gonna give this out for free. And this is for people who literally want to really help themselves. If you have good financial habits, finance it. Don't just drop 500 out the blue. Because if you finance it through a firm for 24 months, you actually put yourself in a position where you can boost your credit score.
If it's 0%, like if you talk to people that, like you said, financially correct, people that deal with business, they'll say borrow somebody else's money.
Yeah.
If that joint says 0% and you are just disciplined enough to do it, now of course the folks online and Twitter are gonna say, if you can't buy it twice, you can't get it. I'm like, come on now. Like you can buy two houses.
Said no, like listen. I would say this. So I would say this. The more and more I start to listen to people, a lot of the ideologies I hear from people who don't have money don't say the same thing to the people who do have money. To the people who do have money,
different conversations.
To the people who do have money, they are not saying stuff like, "Oh, if you can't buy it twice." There are people.
Man, talk to a real estate investor that'll tell you he got like millions of dollars in debt because of properties that he has bought outright that he's renting.
But watch this.
And
I guarantee, and he's one. And guess what? He's one good close away from being in a surplus.
Yeah. So, like you said, if you have good financial, and the thing about all of this is it's all a choice. Like
it's a luxury.
To expect literally, this is all a luxury. We're arguing about first world problems. There are people that the idea of even buying if the Switch was $300, folks would have been like, I can't do that. If it was $100, there are people that say I can't do that. So it's a luxury regardless. But to think that Nintendo is out of pocket for $449, considering in 2025 what eggs cost. So, like, what are we talking about?
Listen, man. Eggs are going up. Gas is going up. Like, come on, man.
Everything's tariffs. You got Trump
bro,
out there. He putting
bro,
tax on everything. You worried about 449? It's about to get crazy.
let's
I was like,
see. And the thing. Here's the thing, and this is what I've learned. There is always going to be a level of opposition or something that's going to come against you. There's always going to be a reason to complain, and I just choke. And it's my first time meeting you, bro. Good pleasure meeting you. I was gonna say, I just can't deal with it no more. I tell Kels all the time, like, yo, bro, I just don't have the energy anymore. I don't have the energy to care. I'm like, I'm probably a Jedi going into becoming a Sith. And I'm at a point where just let them.
he tried to play good. He's like, I tried. Y'all made me sick.
Like I really feel like what it says in Dark Knight. The hero that lives too long lives to become the villain. And I feel like I'm going into my villain stage at this point.
Because it's easier. If people find, I mean, obviously they must get energized from one being negative to complaining. Like Mekel told me, he said a lot of this is engagement farming. Like folks don't even really believe what they're saying. They just know that it's engagement farming. It's all just okay. I'm gonna get a rise out of people. I'm gonna troll them, and then when you meet them in person, but oh, I'm just playing around. It's like no integrity across the board about what you're saying. And then even if you disagree, there's a way to disagree about it. But they'll disagree and say something as if they run a multi-billion-dollar company. They're like, they don't know what they're doing up there. I'm like, really? Are you sure about that? I said, because the way it's looking right now, they have been wildly successful.
But they're
for
mad
a
at
very
Kanye.
long time.
They want to say the craziest things online, but they're all mad at Kanye for doing the same thing.
It's literally it's a scapegoat. It's easy to pinpoint on somebody. And I'm not gonna say like he hasn't said wild things, but the truth of the matter is what he said wild is just probably it's just regurgitating of the craziest things we've already heard. When you're saying anything brand new, you're just regurgitating the same thing we've heard. But when they want to have us, when they want a scapegoat, they want a martyr, they're gonna find it.
Yep.
So right now, like you said, Nintendo announced the Switch. Everybody, because Nintendo has had certain price points for so many years, I think they were just like, it has to be $299. That's what people talking about $299. I'm like, $299
for 1080p,
$300. If they did 300, I would be more concerned about if Nintendo can even survive. And if they were to do that, them games would have been $130.
All right.
Said, okay.
So I'm gonna do a social experiment. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's just say, for an example, I got a Samsung Galaxy 25 Ultra, right?
Okay.
And I said, hey, I got this Samsung 25 Ultra. I'm going to give it to you. You know what? I don't believe in all this high price stuff. So I'm going to give this to you for $700. Unused everything. What's the first question that's coming to your mind?
What's the catch? What's the catch? Everybody say, what's the catch?
Or maybe what's wrong with it, right?
What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
What's the catch?
Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
So
is it hot? Am I gonna take it? And
so watch this. I'm gonna show you what I just proved. I just proved pricing is part of the branding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Louis Vuitton and Gucci have a certain price point.
Watch this. So
if Louis Vuitton started charging $19.99 for scarves, it's over for them.
So watch this. You're a you told me you was a sneakerhead, right? Somebody said they waited online to get these limited edition Jordans, and they only want to give it to you for $100. What's the initial feeling you feel about that?
Them are fake.
So if Nintendo was to underprice their value, what do we think the initial reaction of the people would be?
Oh, I can tell you. See, if they would have been under, they would have said Nintendo is either failing or something's wrong. They're going down. If Nintendo would have announced, if they would have showed the Switch and then showed the price without showing the specs, everybody would have said that thing is running the same hardware as a Switch 1 or is barely any more powerful than a Switch 1. If they would have came out and said Switch 2 is coming out, it's going to start at $299, folks would have been like, that thing's a dud. It's not going to perform. It has no power. It's going to look terrible.
And
That's what you're saying.
And that right there is an example of human psychology. We can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's always going to win. So instead of trying to beat human psychology, I'm just going to go ahead and join in and flow with it. That's why
it's part of the value of it. I mean, you arguing about the price when it's something brand new. I always tell people, said, okay, then wait, buy a used one.
Yeah.
Give it 6 months. Somebody will have one on Facebook Marketplace for you to buy. Give it a year. Give it 2 years. Wait 3 years. Nintendo is not making another Switch for a cool 8 years. Like, don't worry, you got more than enough time. They're not coming back to this drawing board for a long time. So just cool out. Give it to, but then, funny enough, those same people don't want to wait. Nah, I wanted to get it now. I wanted to get a birthday present, Christmas, kids, and family. I'm like, okay, so you know the price point. Like, yeah, I know you can get an Xbox Series S for cheaper. My son has one. You can get those for like 200 on Facebook Marketplace now.
Hey! Actually, I got something to say about that. I just got a Series S, well, a second one because I sold my other one. So I got off Facebook Marketplace. You won't even believe how much it was, and I actually thought something was wrong.
$80.
See?
You both of y'all throw a price out.
$80.
I say 130, something
50.
around there. Yo,
I would be like, yo, this is hot.
hot. Well, listen.
Drive around the spot just peep it out.
You can't even care about the LG OLED TV I bought. Listen, I
No.
didn't ask any questions. The deal on that was so crazy. Dude had a bunch in his garage, and a bunch of us pulled up. He had 4 of them, 70-inch ones, brand new. That price point, I didn't ask any questions. Andre was like, "Did you ask him where you got it from?" I said, "Did I ask where he got it from? Are you crazy?" I said, "It was
this wasn't
I wasn't at Best Buy. I was in my man's garage."
I know that. Listen, if I get it from a garage, I already know I got a 5-figure discount.
Yeah, listen, here's the cash. Ignorance is bliss. See you later in the car. Like, me and them people loaded them TVs up and got out of Dodge. We didn't even talk to each other. We looked at each other and nodded like, you know what this is. Keep it moving. Don't ask. Don't look at me too long. Don't ask nothing. No questions. It was a quiet, silent transaction. But yeah, you're correct. The Nintendo needs to. They have to keep a certain image. They have to keep a certain level of what they're doing. When they showed, and now actually having this conversation, I understand now more so why they didn't talk about the price after the fact, because they just showed you the value. So I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to show you the value. You'll see the price online. It's out there. And I'm going to let y'all argue amongst yourselves in the streets. But guess what? It's still going to come. It's still going to sell out. We're doing it right before summer when school lets out. Trust me, however mad you think these parents are buying their kids iPhone 16. Okay? I got family members that got friends that got 13-year-olds that got a brand new iPhones in their pocket. Pro Maxes. 7-inch screens, $1,500. Trust me, if the biggest expense you have is your kid saying, "I want to Switch 2 for Christmas," then you made it out good. Considering what they could ask for, iPads and laptops and MacBooks and Sam's Android phones and come on now, this is an easy entry. And the thing I do like, me and Mekel, we had that podcast, we talked about it. The reason why I like Nintendo is because they kept the formula the same. And I know for some people, they don't like that. They change and tweak certain things, but they take their time. Like we were talking about, they come, yeah, it might seem like they're late to the party, but it's so refined and so easy and implemented that it makes just sense. Okay. Yeah, game chat's been around forever. The difference that Nintendo did that I would speak to having kids is that they put it inside of the system. Do you know how difficult it is when Zuri wants to play with his cousins on mine? I gotta put the Discord, connect that, Put that on there. Make a fake account that he's 13. I gotta monitor the Discord because he over there like, I want to join other chats. I'm like, no, you're not. I gotta do all that extra mad steps. When I saw Nintendo, I was like, oh my goodness.
Y'all made this easy for me.
Wanted.
Y'all made this real easy for me. And my son got a switch mini and everything. So it's like if he wants to play any of the games,
just transfer it over to him.
There.
Right?
Xbox, I gotta have them shared on the same account, and sometimes it loses the sync. He like, why can't I play the game? I'm like, I don't know. Microsoft is doing what they do best, screwing something up at the end, like for no reason. like there's so when I saw that game chat thing, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. The camera makes sense. Yeah, y'all can argue, oh, we've been had cameras. No, cameras are set up for streamers on PC, so I gotta build a PC. Set up the streaming thing. I gotta lock the PC down because I'm not giving an 11-year-old free reign to the internet for him to go find whatever he can think of. All these people don't realize some of those things matter, and when you see them as parents, I know it doesn't apply to everybody, but for me, when I saw that, I said, "Oh, that's an easy sell."
You know what we call that?
Easy sell.
Do you know what we call that? We call that the value of convenience.
Yes.
Convenience is a high value ask for so many people. Everybody wants convenience. I don't care who you are. Everybody wants convenience. If you don't want convenience, stop ordering DoorDash. If you don't want convenience, don't use next day mail. If you don't want convenience, don't use streaming services so you can binge watch your shows and everything. If you don't want convenience, if you don't want convenience,
they wouldn't even make it in that era.
Oh, I'm not done.
Blockbuster came.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Blockbuster. These kids wouldn't even make it.
They wouldn't.
If the disc, if the tape wasn't behind that little cover, ain't no more. You not watching Batman Returns.
Oh, what? No. I'm gonna make it even better. If you don't want convenience, go delete all your digital games and go buy all physical. You don't want convenience, get rid of your high-speed internet. Everybody wants convenience. Everything that we do as adults is a high level steps above from what we did as children. And the majority of it is convenience.
That's what you want. Where even if it looks simple, even if people make fun and tell like, oh, this is an old feature, we've been had this. I'm like, you've had this in much more complicated setups.
Yeah.
Not in something, it's simple if you just pull back. But I was looking at it when the direct was over, I was like, that game chat and that camera thing, I know it seems like it's not a big deal, but man, I know what that's like to be trying to set that up outside of a console. And it's just multiple steps. It's so many things. Try setting up a Discord for some kids and some cousins. It's a mess. And I'm the administrator, so I got to go in there and regulate. Over there, somebody sharing me. I'm like, don't do that. They're like, why? I'm like, why am I arguing with you in the Discord? I got to call your parent. I'm gonna call your my brother-in-law. Like, can you get your daughter? Like, what is happening right now? Can you get your daughter? Like, tell her. Like, that's what I want. I want something that's just streamlined. Because a lot of times, I always say when you're busy, when you have many other things going on, whether it's like Mekel, you content creating like myself, doing podcasts, doing car stuff. When I sit down to play a game, you know what stopped me from playing so often recently? Every time I go to play something, it has to update. I turn it off. I'm like, man, get out of here. As soon as I go to play, it's like, 48 gig update. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Dude, with the quickness. The quickness.
If anything that PlayStation has done, is this.
I haven't gotten a portal, but I will be getting it when I'll probably buy GTA 6 on Sony just to get the portal because I can't play that in front of anybody. Andre gonna be looking at me and he's like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "A lot."
But that right there is another example of something that people were clowning on, saying it was gonna flop. Nobody was gonna buy it. I was called the Sony shill.
Oh yeah, they were killing you. They were killing Mekel for even saying it was good. They were like,
"This thing is so good."
Like, I also find it funny that people try to make a negative of being paid. Let me get paid by Sony. I'm Sony man. Okay, Sony cut a check for a couple million. I'm Sony man,
bro.
I'm outside with the Sony badge.
But here's the thing:
I don't understand. Making money becomes you try to be a knot, or you got paid.
No, but
thank you.
But here's the thing: there's a lot of projection that happens online. And I saw a tweet. I don't know when I saw it, but it was something along the lines that billionaires are the reason why there's poverty. I'm like, that don't make sense to me, because of billionaires, there's a lot of jobs. When you have more money, the only way someone could legit become a billionaire is because they're hiring so many people to do jobs that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
You can see the companies that made people billionaires. Usually it's tied to some industry like railroads, telecommunications, software,
Oh snap!
steel,
You
something
good?
like that. Like
Yeah,
it's all going to be connected to something that you already know is a very big industry.
I
So that's
just have long arms, y'all. My bad.
No, you good. You
but
good, man.
yeah, you're good. But that is so yeah, you're right. It's Bill Gates, whatever you may think about him, people get too caught, like you said, they get their ideologies too caught up in the people that don't even know who you are. But from a holistic view, he made Microsoft that employs tens of thousands of people. Somebody made Apple and employs tens of thousands of people. And Apple's products also created various levels of business scaling down. You got independent shops that repair MacBooks and iPhones. You got companies that made accessories out of nowhere for iPhones and screen protectors. And companies like D Brand don't even exist if it wasn't for cell phones. It's not a thing if they don't have those phones out there. So, yeah, it makes a list of things happening. Is there poverty? Is there other things to fix? Yeah, but so is, you know, there's plenty of things to fix in this world. Nothing's going to be perfect.
All right. So I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
The one thing nobody's talking about, and honestly, it's not even really my question because Cameron, it was originally your question. That battery life, though.
I do wonder about that. Only because they said it. Well, even though it's the same thickness, the overall device is bigger, so you can put a lot more battery in there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Here's what I know. Here's where I know they're gonna have people making up stuff or just being mad about it. I guarantee you that everybody wants to have the battery life of their iPhone or their Galaxy phone. They want 17 hours of straight hard use. I'm a realistic individual and I have a brain, so I know we're talking 3 to 5. Get
Yes.
ready, 3 to 5. And here's the thing: I don't care because they put the port at the top where I can connect the battery. And everybody who's complaining, all of y'all have battery packs. Don't
I
lie to
have.
yourselves. And if you don't have one, prepare yourself and go get one off Amazon because they're dirt cheap now.
Yeah.
I literally have a dock.
Yeah.
I listen. I'm a homebody. Okay. If I don't have to leave the house, I will become Master Roshi. Okay. I will literally go get what I need from the store, hang out, and when I want to relax, I am not sitting back on that couch. I don't got the Switch near me, but I can use this. Going like sit on my couch doing this all day. No, I have a controller in my hand, and this 65-inch screen TV that
Oh
has
yeah, the
HDR
Flex
support.
65. I got the smallest TV out of all of y'all then, and I'm the tech guy.
Yeah, you need to do something about that. I don't even know how you can see that screen. Like 55, I'll be like, yo, I need the glasses. I'm playing.
Like, I will sit behind with the HDR support, turn out all these lights, and enjoy. Do you not people? Let me say this, because I got this TV, January 2024. Do you know what I took off from work to play and enjoy on this glorious TV?
Rebirth?
Rebirth. Do you know how much Rebirth was? $70. Do you think I got upset that I had to pay $70 for that game? No.
Let's be. If you go to the movies to see a movie that you may or may not think know is good because you're only going to find out when the movie's over. Guess what you're spending? What are we spending?
Well, wait a minute. That's that. I use this movie example a lot. Now, I'm gonna have fun. You're gonna appreciate my examples. Are we talking about regular admission? Are we talking 3D? Are we talking 4DX or 4DX?
Even regular, I would say just regular admission.
Regular
I don't know how much
admission.
regular admission is where I'm at. I'm like, you still paying?
Regular admission is about $15.
Yeah.
15, $20. Depending if you get the matinee deal or not. And snacks will run you about
$200. Them snacks will hit. If you stick to popcorn and soda, you can kind of skate out of there. But if you add a
you gotta be
pretzel, a
you
pizza bite, a chicken tender,
you are a different
yeah,
kind of
Just
evil.
one tender.
If you are a different kind of evil if you get into the popcorn and soda and in the movie theaters. Like, God bless your breathing capabilities. Like, I don't know what's worse, having popcorn and soda or having a Popeye chicken's biscuit without water.
See, I can do the popcorn and soda thing, but I'm like you, I'm a homebody, and I don't even be at the movies that much, anyways. Like
Same.
we'll be at the movies coming up because my son wants to see the Minecraft movie. The last time I was at the movie was months
Mario.
ago.
Last time I was there was the Mario movie.
Same, yeah. It's the whole thing, and again, this is me using logic, and I know I need to stop doing this, but it's like, if you guys don't want the Switch, don't buy it. Like, just don't buy. No one is just jacking you up, asking you for your last rent check to go buy this Switch.
Wait a minute, Mekel. Do you mean like the same thing they can do where if they don't like someone's video, they could just X out the video and go to another video instead of leaving a bad comment?
That's leaving these paragraphs, bro. When I did the review for Assassin's Creed, like, Cameron, I didn't even show it to you, but like, Abaddon, I sent you some. Bro, I've been getting paragraphs, biographies.
I just read the YouTube comments and be like,
you've been getting struggle blog posts, bro.
Yeah, I read his YouTube comments. I'm like, I see why he be in the gym in the morning, because I have to get off some steam too. Let me go lift some weights before I curse somebody out.
So, like, you know, we're gonna put the 45s on today.
Yeah, like the stuff. But like you said, people, it's the entitlement thing too. And entitlement comes from, I expect this price point to be this, and I expect them to deal with it because they'll say, well, Nintendo's made this much money. Nintendo has this much stuff. They're doing so much better. They sold this many units and consoles. It's like, yeah, but then on the flip side, if you work for them, you'd be like, I want a raise. And they're like, okay, we can give you a raise, but guess what? That's going to trickle down too. We have to make money elsewhere.
So there was a comment that I saw someone made this post. I mean, I've been finding gems. I'm keeping these receipts, people, for when the Switch 2 launches and you can't find it. Yeah. Anyway, so this person said, and I sent it to Abaddon, but Cameron, this is what it was. Person said the market will fail. Only rich people can play games if this is the case. I couldn't drop $100 on the game, and if I work 40 hours a week at $15 an hour, this is a bit much. And if I'm planning on paying my bills and such as well, not everyone has that kind of money. How am I supposed to afford to play my favorite games? It's called budgeting, or get yourself a skill set, man.
I mean, I have something to say, but
go for it, man. Go for it.
I'm not trying to be insensitive to people in these plights, but
I will be. Go, but you don't have to be. I will be.
You have to know what level of the stadium you can afford the tickets to see the show. If you're making $15 an hour, I'm gonna be real with you. $15 an hour. No, you really can't afford a Nintendo Switch 2 and to pay your bills. I would ask also, where do you live to afford some bills at 15 an hour? 15 an hour is $30,000 a year before taxes. You're on the low scale of this, and unfortunately, The Switch 2 is made on a higher scale because they gave you older systems. You can go get an original Switch. They still have games for it. They're still going to make games for it. No, you can't get the latest and greatest thing. That's like me being mad at Mercedes because the AMGs are $100,000. And I'm like, if I have to, no, I'm not in that tax bracket. It is what it is. Certain things are not for you. You should be okay with it. I'm not out buying 50, 90 GPUs and sticking them into PCs. I don't have the means to spend X amount of dollars on it. But I'm not online complaining saying, man, you know what? How are people going to afford a $2,500 GPU if they have to pay bills and raise a family? Listen, it's not for you. The people that can do it are just going to go and do it. They're not going to complain about it. They're going to say that's the cost of doing business, and they're going to get it done. So hearing somebody say $15 an hour when they're trying to figure out how to pay bills and to live and to eat, the Nintendo Switch thing is the last thing on your list.
Yeah, exactly.
The first thing is food, water, and shelter. Okay.
or as I keep telling people, get on your damn purpose. You need to, like, if you're making $15 an hour right now in the year of our Lord and Savior, Nintendo Switch 2 and Bowser and all of them is not going to do it for you. If this was like,
go for it. A better example. Out here in Texas, you can go to you've heard of that Bucky store because everybody talks about it.
Yeah.
The giant gas station stops.
Yeah.
They start the car wash attendant at $21 an hour.
Wow.
If you're making 15, and I'm like, you can go to Bucky's and watch cars go through the car wash. Like you said, you have to get on your purpose. You have to side hustle. You have to hustle. And I'm also a person that's like that too. Yeah, I might have a career and a salary and all these things. But if I want certain things, I still budget. I will finesse and flip and I'll do all those things to get to the things I want. I won't just sit and complain about it. If I say I want a certain thing, I'm going to say, okay, this is what it's going to take. This is what it's going to cost. I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z in order to achieve that. That is just what it's going to be. Nobody's going to give you a handout. Nobody's coming to save you. If you're online complaining about Switch 2 price point and cost of the games, start preparing yourself.
Get your money up.
Comes out June 5th. Get to the hustle. Grab a side gig. Start door dashing. Sell some things you got.
Bro,
do whatever you have to do.
You're in my lane. That's actually why. Which I actually gotta bounce soon because, excuse me, I got DoorDash in the morning, and what I do is I get up at 4:00 in the morning. I'm on East Coast. I get up at 4:00 in the morning, so I can get up, take care of myself. Then I go head to the gym. I get a half hour in the gym. Straight out the gym, I go on DoorDash, and then straight from DoorDash when I come home, I work on content a little bit before dropping my children and my wife off to work and school. And when I drop them off, I come back to work on a little bit more content to go back in before I go to work my 9 to 5. And then while I'm working my 9 to 5, I'm taking the time to read. Here's the thing. I'm going to say something that I probably didn't think I would ever say publicly, but I'm going to say it. Until you increase the output in your mind of what is a lot of money, that's going to be the determining factor if you are broke or not, or stay broke or not.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, if you think $1,000 is a lot of money, guess what you would never make weekly? Weekly. Guess what you would never make in a day?
Yeah, $1,000.
$1,000. Now let's expand this a little bit. If you think $10,000 is a lot of money, guess what you're never making weekly or daily?
Same amount.
Until you expand that, I'm gonna circle this back in a way that we're going back to the beginning of the conversation. Until you expand what you call a lot, you will never know the true value of yourself your happiness, and your hobbies. If you knew the value of your happiness and your hobbies and you expanded freely what a lot is, everything that falls outside of that a lot is like, oh, that's not that bad. It wasn't until I expanded my mindset to say, wow, if I do this and that, actually making $10,000 to $20,000 a month is not a lot. Really, when I sat and thought about it, I'm gonna tell you how I sat and thought about it. I'm like, yo, that's not even $1 million a year. That's nothing.
If you break down like people that make 300,000 a year and how much they pull in monthly compared to like say 100,000 a year, and then if you keep going, like you said, up to 500,000, a million. So some people will balk like, oh, $1 million a year. Nah, you ain't even doing nothing crazy. I'm like, you know how much that is a month? Clearing almost 100K a month.
And the thing is, it's like, well, yeah, that's good for the rich. I'm like, yo, the beautiful part about money, what I'm finding is it's not so scarce as we claim it is.
No.
Oh, that's the trick. The trick is to make you think it's scarce.
Yeah.
And then you'll wake up and hear about this acquisition for $75 billion, and you're like, wow, where did they get that from?
Oh, they're not genuine people. They're this, they're that, and we're thinking that they're people grifted for this. There's so many different things, and that's why. Go ahead.
I think that mentality also plays a role into content creation.
It does,
right? So
yeah,
because what everybody will say, because I started my journey with content creation in the car automotive space, and I didn't do it for years. Mekel knows I talked about cars, been into them forever. Even my wife, she was just sick of me talking to her about them. She was like, you should just go and do this. And one of the things that people always say is like, oh, the market's saturated, this, all that. And I always say, if a market has saturation, it means that it's working.
Okay.
It means that it works. If you have nobody in your lane, it means one, you're blazing a trail on your own. You're probably going to fail. And then some people behind you are going to pick up those pieces and then make it succeed. Yes, there's 90,000 realtors. Guess what? You know why? Because real estate makes money. So it works. Market saturation just means that you have to bring something to the table that isn't already there. And some of that can just be who you are by yourself. It doesn't have to be something overly flashy. You don't got to pick up the camera and do exuberant pranks and tricks. Some of it can just be who you are, your integrity, your honesty, and that's enough to propel you across where you want to go. And it's a marathon. So whenever people talk about my channel and the content, I always tell them this is a marathon. I was a big Nipsey Hussle fan, so I was like,
"Yep,
it's a marathon." I said nothing. I'm trying to.
It continues, don't it?
Yeah, I was like, it's nothing for now. I don't want virality for something that I don't want on my channel. I'm not doing certain things. I don't want something to blow up and it's me doing a stupid prank and they're like, do more of those. I'm like, no, that was nothing to do with what I had. Everything is just foundation. It's quality. It's showing it's the 10,000 hours. It's doing 100 episodes of a podcast or 1,000 of them or 2,000. Just keep going regardless of what you hear and what you see in order to achieve what you want. And if you want to have more of it, I always look at the entire landscape. I'll talk to my wife about it. I'll say, listen, all the people I look up to that are automotive journalists and podcasters, I do know one thing. They're older than me. So guess what? If they have done it all this time, I have time. And all I need is a slice out of the massive pie of all of this.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you something. And this is not to get religious. This is just to give a spiritual principle. This earth was made for multiplication. And I can prove, and I look at it as you look at nature. What it says, when the Bible says be fruitful and multiply, it literally means be as a fruit and multiply after yourself. Let me give you an example of what that means. We look at an apple, right? How many seeds do you think an apple has?
It's a lot.
It's a lot of seeds, right? Now I'm a trip y'all out. How many trees are in those seeds?
I would think a tree per seed.
A tree per seed. Now, how many apples are in each seed now?
That's a good one.
That's
a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was good.
So here's the thing. If there is by the very law of the earth, everything is supposed to multiply. So that means wealth, truthfully, is supposed to multiply. Your wealth your wealth multiplies when you have connections with other people. Every single billionaire has connections with good people. Everyone that has a high wealth altitude is because they have a good range of people that they are connected with who are on the same wavelength. And that's why I appreciate the conversations and everything. By the way, I subscribe to your channel, by the way, brother.
Appreciate it.
Because, you know, when it comes, I appreciate seeing people who want to make sure it's a marathon. And I used to be a runner. You know, I used to do cross country and track. So when people say it's a marathon, my mind goes back to the cross country route. My mind goes back and remembers. Hey, any of y'all that did running before? I mean, y'all did like cross country running before?
I've done the cross country, but I mean, I've done running before.
Okay, so that you know that in a marathon, the terrain is ever changing. It's not just like it's not like the track field where the ground is even the entire 1600. The 1600 that you run on the track field is different than the 1600 on the road.
Yep.
Where the ground is changing. There's potholes here. There's dips here. There's turns here. Then you got to run into the grass. Like the traction is different. See, we don't think about that when it comes to content creation and how doing this in a sense of you're going to have some storms. So the reason why I have such a huge appreciation for the word value, as I'll talk about Mekel today, is because value is shown in what you're going to put your time into, is what you spend either your wallet on or your time on. That's what's valuable.
Yeah.
And when people are saying that video games should not be priced at this amount, it's because they don't want the guilt of I spent this much money and this much time playing this, because they know they're unhappy and unfulfilled in other areas of their life.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it makes. I listened to I think it was right before I started my channel, I listened to this TED talk where this woman was talking about the effects of giving up and like where you are on your journey, like on your marathon. And she was showing a graph where like somebody was like standing in the valley of a mountain they're climbing up, and she said, if you would have kept going, you don't even realize you might be stuck in that valley, and all you have to do is keep going, and then you're gonna keep ascending, and then you might drop into another valley. And she's like, people usually give up when they get into that drop, not realizing all the progress they have made. You're just looking at the fact that maybe I'm not at the peak, I'm not at the summit, but you've already made a remarkable amount of progress if you go all the way back to the beginning. So even if I look at myself, I look at my channel from the very beginning in the first video until now, it just reminds me of the progress. Because it's like, yeah, you had 0, now you're at this number. So you've made the progress. The comparison thing is what also damages a lot of people's perception, because they'll look at somebody like a Mr. Beast and be like, well, he got 195 million. It's like, there's a lot of numbers in between 0 and 195 million. There's a lot of numbers. You don't have to land on his number to feel like your success. Where you could land at 25,000, you can land at 100, a million, whatever it may be. But the comparison thing also is what hurts people's drive. They'll say the ship's already sailed, it's over, you can't do anymore. And I keep telling people things like YouTube and the value they have, things like video games and what we're buying and what we're playing into, these hobbies aren't going anywhere. So if at this juncture you're already upset about the cost of it, then what you're saying is you find no value in the hobby that you are talking about.
Bam.
Ooh. See, I wanted to say something, man. Like, honestly, I appreciate both of y'all. Like, for real. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be doing podcasting or even where I'm at in my career as a content creator if it wasn't for you, Cameron. So, brother, thank you for everything. Like, seriously. And I always say I would not have started this if not for you. I mean, what were we like doing stuff like the Best Buy for Microsoft, just talking about this stuff all the time, and that's how we got started. And it's
I mean,
like,
I remember the mountain of hate you're getting for the idea of you doing that. Because see, I already know that you deal with a whole nother thing, having lived in Hawaii with you. I know that island mentality, that thing stops all types of people trying to do something. Because
yes,
that's just a whole nother societal thing. Like if you don't live there to understand that kind of, confined island lifestyle, if you think anything bigger than outside of Waimanalo Beach, they're like, man, what do you think you're trying to do? You trying to
yep,
go global? You trying to do something big here? We don't do that. And then it also is, we deal with how we are, how we look as black men. It's like you deal with other things that they're like, you're trying to do what? You
mhm,
can't do that. That's not your lane. You guys don't do that. And so all those things is why when I have something simple, like this weekend, I'm going to like a press event. I go to different things slowly but surely when it comes to the automotive space. And every time I get there, I've had people come to me like, man, you're really excited about being here. I said, I'm excited about anything dealing with what I find a passion in. The rest of them might be jaded because they've been here for years and decades. I'll never get like that. That's just how I am. It's what I enjoy. It's what I find a passion in. It never gets old. I never look at games and be like, oh man, another Switch. Listen, I'm there for Switch 9. I don't care how many they make. I told my wife don't even question me. When she saw the announcement, she was like, I already know you're getting one. I was like, I'm getting every console. I don't care what that I'm there every day for each one because I find value in what they bring and I want those industries to continue. So I support them.
yeah,
That's another thing too. People don't realize your support dictates if this thing continues. You
yeah.
start folding your arms up and saying, I don't want to pay that, I'm not doing that. Nintendo would just fold up shop and say, okay, cool, we'll just become a digital IP. We're going to sell our rights to everything. They're going to be like George Lucas, like, here, take it. Do what you want with it. I'm paid, I'm out. And that's not what we want. So,
You went there,
in the end, I'm buying a Switch.
Same.
bro. Yo, Mario Kart Forza Horizon. That's what we should just start calling that.
It's Mario Kart Cruising USA.
You're right. Absolutely. I was looking at the game like, this feels like old nostalgic arcade racing games. Listen,
But
I'm ready for all of that. Anybody complained about seeing another Mario Kart, which I find absolutely hilarious when it's funny? They'll say that and then some other company will make an IP, will be some kart racing game like Crash Bandicoot. And I'm like, where do you think they got that idea from? I mean, there's only so many ways you can reinvent the wheel for go-kart racing.
yep.
Like, it is what it is. We've been playing Call of Duty every single year for the past 30 years. And so it's at some point in time, yeah, I'm gonna play a Mario game. I'm gonna play another Kirby. I'm most excited about the Donkey Kong game because I've been waiting for them to do one like that for a long time.
It's been 26 years since we've had a 3D, like, not
You know
a
what's funny?
platformer. But
Yeah,
go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say Nintendo has more stuff in the vault that they haven't even brought out. I'm
Yes.
waiting for another F-Zero. That's all I'm saying. I need F-Zero.
That'd be dope.
They still have and what other company? Many companies can't even speak to that level of IP. Microsoft is busy trying to create IP. Sony is trying to create IP. Nintendo's like, man, we can open the vault at any moment, and there's a banger in there for y'all
The only
anytime you want.
company the only company that could literally compete with Nintendo IP for IP is Sega, which is why we need Dreamcast too. Remember, you remember those?
Dreamcast, Mike. Listen, I'm mad about those. That's another thing. That's the sad part. Those IPs that Sega had and where they're at, and who has them, and who wants to do what with them. I mean, that's a whole other story.
I guess wrapping everything up because I know it's getting late for you guys and she's getting restless behind me. But what are some of the things you guys are looking forward to? And second question would be, how long will it be if people don't get the Switch 2 when it first drops or within that first week? How long are they going to be waiting to get a Switch 2? Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I'll say about 2 weeks. I'll say about be a 2-week turnaround time, longest a month. I'm saying. Go ahead.
I'll say the same. I'm saying the same. I'm agreeing with you.
I'll say, and I'm only saying 2 weeks because they want as many people as possible to be on for the summertime.
If I'm going to give Nintendo anything that they do well, is they keep their product in the hands of the people. They watch Sony and Microsoft fumble and create a scalper's paradise when it came to how they launched their consoles. And Nintendo does not want that because they don't want their name to be associated with somebody couldn't get it because we didn't produce enough. They're not going to do what NVIDIA did with the GPUs. They're not doing what Sony did with the PS5s. They're going to have basically a window between 2 and 4 weeks of that product coming back and coming back. Because the other benefit of what they created is that they're using hardware that's readily available. It's not some special chip that only one company made that's extra special and there ain't too many of them. They're using stuff that's like, it's here and it's ready. And it also gets into the point of like gameplay and game design always trumps anything dealing with graphic fidelity. If the game isn't good, I don't care how good it looks. If it doesn't have proper design, playability, none of that matters.
What are you guys looking forward to with the Switch 2?
Honestly, just good moments with my family. That's really all I could see. Like the solo games, even some of the solo games like Donkey Kong, I look forward to playing that. Oh, actually, no, I do have something I look forward to. I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, so I'm triple dipping in the remake.
Oh yeah,
bro, that game it looked better than it does on the Steam Deck. I've seen people say that the games that they showed on that direct look just the same as the original Switch and not going to look any better. I'm like, all those games.
I love how people take a stream at 1080 across millions of people watching live as the full final look of how a game looks. It was on a stream. Like what do you think? Like it's no, you're not gonna.
You gotta watch the actual. You gotta watch the actual video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After the fact,
when they released it, I watched the Mario Kart one. Looks fire. Go watch that in 4K, and then you get a real visual look of it. I'm most excited about the game chat feature and the camera. I'm excited about because it introduces something that I've been literally trying to create amongst my own family, cousins and kids, of how they want to play a game and see each other. And I got iPads mounted up on FaceTime, on Facebook Kids Messenger with Discord in the back. I'm putting all of them. I'm telling all of them, all their families, I need y'all to get a Switch 2 so that we can do this with some sensibility around here. Okay, enough of this. But that just having just the games they have, like Mario Kart, I'm excited about. Like, genuinely excited about that. I'm excited about playing some of the old GameCube games that are going to be on there, and just the other IPs that are coming. And I'm always excited. And I'm always excited about new game console hardware. I like that moment of buying a new console. I like the fanfare. I like the energy. I like all that. And the last time we had that was the Switch 1. I can't remember the date the Switch 1. I keep forgetting. I just know we were on the island together.
Bro, that was my wedding day.
Yeah, like
bro, we're getting ready for the wedding. Like, yo, let's go pick up our Switch. We gotta go downtown. Let's go to the Walmart and pick it up. We gotta go to the west side. We gotta go flip this
on that island. Oh my goodness, yo, on the streets. It was a mess. Folks couldn't miscount it. Yo, we don't know if you got any more, but you gave out 50 pre-orders. They're like, oh, we only had 10. I'm like, oh, this is about to be ugly. Like, just all types of foolishness. But yeah, I'm excited about those features and just having new hardware from Nintendo, seeing new IPs from them. And I think even from their direct, I can just get the sense that they're really going to double down on a lot of things that they might have wanted to do on the Switch that they couldn't do just for a variety of things. I think this console is them really introducing all of that stuff now.
I'm definitely excited. So the biggest thing, like, I'm excited about the games. I'm excited about the performance. Honestly, when we talked about it, Cameron, on the podcast we did, and I know Avidan, you and I, we talked about this before. We basically agreed that like the Steam Deck really showcased to Nintendo that you can have third party support and run AAA games on a handheld device. And the fact that looking back at the games that they showcase, they look way better than what they do on the Steam Deck. Like, I'm assuming performance wise, this is going to be somewhere between maybe a PS4 Pro or Xbox Series X, maybe a Series S, but it's got the power to be able to run third party, because we already know what Nintendo is like with no third party support is not good. We went through that with the Wii U. We went through it with the GameCube. We went through the drought
We're
with
going through
the
that. We still go through that with Microsoft.
I was trying not to bring them up, man. Why you got to do that? I'm trying not to bring
I'm
them
just
up.
saying, man. It's been a long battle. I'm just saying.
But the thing I'm most excited about is I would say the camera and the noise isolation, because I know the guys who worked on that directly with so as y'all know, like Nintendo and Nvidia have a partnership. Shout out to my man Gerardo Delgado. I've had him on my podcast before, a good friend of mine. He's the one who's heading all the stuff that does the Nvidia broadcast, which is things that they natively put in the Switch. The fact that they showcase that you can be talking, be loud around you, and it's going to isolate your voice, or you got the camera, you can do that cutout for removing the background. All that is within NVIDIA Broadcast, which is free if you're on PC and you got an NVIDIA GPU. It's free. And the fact that that's baked into the Switch 2, anyone who's saying, oh, it's weak, it's underpowered, that right there is a resource hog on PCs. And if they putting that in the Switch means they optimized it, because it looked crispy.
Every time this happens, they'll come out and they'll say, when it finally gets to hardware, they'll be like, oh, this is better. Oh, this is performing better than we imagined.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's why for me personally, I'm personally just looking forward to seeing what the Switch 2 is gonna bring forward. Like, I like the WSB ports. WSB ports, I get the charge and still use this for other purposes. But the thing that I haven't really heard people talk about, but I want to get your thoughts on this, that new Pro controller.
What we think?
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm wondering what the G buttons on the back are going to be for.
I hope that I'm thinking they're going to be programmable. If it's going to be similar to this,
then
crap, we're supposed to review that. I forgot to review it.
I think every
what you doing, Mekel?
They probably watching because this is on Twitter right now. We got
live talking about. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. They're looking at
and they just DM me like so.
They're like, send the email.
Oh no lie. They just literally messaged me like, yo, when you gonna do when's your review? You've had it for 2 weeks. I'm like, my bad. They're watching. Yo, shout out to the 50 plus people watching on Twitter or X. Appreciate y'all. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. I would just say it's like I hope that the controller is going to be good, but I don't know. I'm at a point right now where it's like I like the console. I know I want to. I'm not gonna say I like it and I want you. I'm not gonna say that. I like
you and I want you. We can do it the easy way. We can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
But no, I know for myself that I don't want how should I put this? I don't care about the noise anymore at this point. Like, if y'all gonna complain about this, I'm like, you're a grown adult. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I don't like, and I'm just gonna end off with this. I guess the part that bothers me with this are the people who project and make it seem like people who are okay with this are the problem.
Yeah.
Like, we're messing it up for everybody. And I'm like, maybe we just are not. We don't feel bad about paying something, and I feel like we shouldn't be made to feel. We got to be on the same page as everybody else.
Yeah, we're not a hive mind, and there's so much of that, and I feel like there's more of that mentality in society now, or within the last 10 to 12 years, than when all three of us were growing up. We're all within the same age range, and I feel like people, we could have some common thoughts on things, but we still, we're individuals. Whereas now you got people acting like they come off an assembly line, and it's like we're not like that. And it's like all this pocket watching people doing. Oh, no one can afford this. Blah 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 blah. You can't. I can't.
I'm about to say no one, or is it you can't?
Is it
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I just find it fascinating that saving is just tossed out the window as an option. Is the afford thing like I can't afford it on day one? Walk in there and say I want 4 launch titles and the console. I'm not even doing that myself. Yeah, that's a $700-800 day. I mean, okay, you can't do that, but what happened to selling? I mean, not selling. What happened to saving? Getting your funds together, waiting till it's a better time for you. Maybe you got an old Switch that you want to trade in or something. I mean, it's not like it's impossible. They're making it sound like the idea of spending $400 for any one single item is absolutely out of the picture.
And
if that is for you, then you got to prioritize what matters. It's not your time now. It will be later.
Watch this. Waiting a year and using 1 year to get yourself together. Like, why do you gotta get everything day one? If you don't, you can't get it day one. Yo, your real people's not gonna make you feel bad about that.
Yeah.
How do you think people buy other big purchases in their life? You think they just walk up to buy a house and just have the $300,000 in their back pocket?
Some do.
Some do, and then the rest of them save up.
Or they save up for the down payment, and as they pay the down payment, they go into a mortgage for 15 to 30 years, and they pay that off.
Exactly.
Did you guys see and this will be the last thing I'll bring up, but you guys saw the GameStop trade-in values, and people are getting angry at GameStop. They're offering half the value of what was the Switch Lite is like $200. They're offering $100.
Wasn't it like $175 like a Switch
for an OLED? Yeah,
that's not bad.
$150. I don't know how much is a regular Switch.
Like 300 regular, so it's about $150 in buyback, right?
Yeah,
something like. I want people to. Can we just go back to when the Switch originally launched? What date that was?
March 3rd, 2017.
Yeah.
You're getting half the cost 8 years later.
That's almost unheard of because of depreciation value.
Oh yeah, go get an 8-year-old iPhone and see if you get half of what you paid for when you got it.
No.
Yeah.
Go get an 8-year-old car and see if you get half of what you paid for it now.
Bro, you could barely get half of what you paid for if you drive it off the lot.
Yeah. So and then I also laughed at the fact that they don't realize that GameStop has been getting down with their value since the beginning of time. Y'all know what time it is. If you go into GameStop, this is the best deal you're gonna get, because this is them saying if you trade it in for a pre-order, we're gonna hook you up. Come back after it launches. Them numbers are gonna change to $75, $25. Then y'all really gonna be mad.
Facts.
They only hooking you up because they're saying you're gonna do a pre-order. So listen, if you're mad about the price, the cost of the games and everything, this is the perfect time to get on your job. Get your ducks in order. Get your business lined up. Save up. Do what you got to do. And you don't got to get it day one, like we've been saying. You can wait.
Yeah.
Get it during Christmas. Get it this time next year.
Yeah. With that being said, go ahead, guys. Go ahead and plug your channels, anything you're working on. Tell people where they can find you, and after that, I'm gonna edit it, throw it up on Spotify. Shout out to them for sponsoring the show and everything like that. And we can be easy and get on up out of here.
Carl, Chris, you can go first. I've been talking too much.
You can find name, Car Quicks, all the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. Check out the podcast. There's a bunch of videos I put up recently from the past couple days of working on cars. This weekend is probably the very biggest deal because I'm going to a very large press event where I'm driving like 40 plus cars. So how I'm going to shoot all this footage?
40.
I don't know. Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot happening. This is a very, because I got myself into the Texas Auto Writers Association.
Nice.
So the work on the podcast is landing in front of the right people. I'm
Nice.
interviewing a gentleman from the SEMA Auto Show, the vice president, next week. So if you're following the channel, things are progressing the exact way that I've been putting the work in, and I'm going to continue doing it, not stopping. And every week there's a new episode of the podcast talking about the car industry. So if you're into cars and you want to know about it, just hear my opinion on it, follow the movement.
Cool. All right. Cool. And my name is Abaddon Smith. It is, as you see on the screen, every platform. That's it. So you can find me on TikTok. You can, even though I'm not active over there. You can find me on Blue Sky, even though I'm not active over there. You can find me on, I'm not going to say X. The only X I acknowledge is Earl Simmons, okay?
These kids don't even know who you said. Don't even know who you said.
Like, they'll get that one on the way home. Let's see. Facebook, YouTube. I'm Abaddon Smith anywhere. The only place you will not find Abaddon Smith is OnlyFans. You will not find me having an account there. No.
Hey! Don't we gotta give it up to OnlyFans though. No. I know we gotta give it up to OnlyFans because the webcam girls paved the way for the OnlyFans girls to become multimillionaires. So
that's another podcast. That's another podcast. I
can see his face. He's like, I have opinions, but then we already talked enough.
Yeah,
we're here for the next 4 hours.
It is no shot because my opinions will go in a direction that's unexpected. So I'll just leave it there. I'll give y'all the hint. I'm more disgusted at the people who fund it.
Oh, guaranteed. And not only that, but you got the folks that they think they're chatting to the OnlyFans models, and it's actually AI chatbots or agencies. But that is a topic for another podcast.
All right, well, good talking with you guys.
All right,
appreciate you guys. Appreciate y'all coming through. Y'all can find this episode of the podcast and others on all major podcasting outlets. Shout out to Spotify for sponsoring the show. And I apologize to the company QRD that I'm supposed to be reviewing this. I will get that out to y'all soon. I know, I'm sorry. But all that being said, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Be easy.